retirement of U.S. Navy Ohio class SSGN now only 2 years away.
You were on the Ohio, right?
I was on the Ohio for kind of a minimum tour. It was very interesting. I actually experienced, I think, about anything you could with a submarine while I was on that boat, and take that for what you want. We made stops. We did swim calls at the equator.
That's pretty cool.
Got out and swam around, in the middle of the ocean. That's where I got my shellback. I got a tattoo here for that. It was pretty awesome. Did some stuff all over the place, actually on the boat, doing missions, and then, come back and we did a long import period. Went up to Bremerton, brought the boat back, went into the shipyard.
Didn't you get mapped on the Ohio?
I did, yeah. It was one of the times I decided to be the what would it would have been the time? I guess the deck LPO with deck div. There was an opening, and interesting time. I guess I kind of left the shipyard as the first lieutenant because we had a couple shipmates that it was I guess there were two MT1s. One of them was actually the first lieutenant that I worked with, and he had to take over missile div again because the other MT1 that was the LPO got picked up and commissioned, I think, as an LDO, a limited duty officer. And so he left. So the other guy takes over as the LPO, and Weps just kind of came up and said, "Okay, well, I guess you're the guy." And it was an interesting time. I kind of had to jump, into that position, but I guess I did a pretty good job because they said, "Hey, we're going to give you more pay and another rank."
Oh my fucking God. Ohio, Michigan, Florida, Georgia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good mnemonic.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can remember.
That's actually the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, me too. I've never heard that one before. That's really good.
I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to leave that in.
No, I've got to say, they've done a great job for what they are, and but it's about time. Working on those boats, being part of PMT, and going down and making sure that they're mission capable and things like that. Their systems are starting to degrade, and the parts and pieces that are required to keep them going are harder to manufacture, and they're no longer made, and things like that. It's about time. It's about time for some of those boats to start going, and obviously with the Columbia class coming in, I'm anxious to see what this Columbia class is going to look like and how it's going to be set up. And I hope at one point in time I get to take a tour of one of those. It'd be really, really cool. But no, those GNs, they're something else. The way that they cut them up and refurbished them, and the overhauls that they went through, it's really, really cool. Especially you see one with a dry deck shelter on the back of it and everything.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, pretty versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I enjoyed my time when I was on the Ohio, and it's a different feel. A lot of people say, what's the best platform? Because I've been on a SSN, an SSGN, and an SSBN. An SSGN is it's definitely a great platform. It is kind of a mixture of both, but we used to call them fat attacks.
Fat attacks
instead of a fast attack. But
I've never heard that.
Because you can, it's a very versatile platform. But some of the stuff, obviously, the technology on those is going to be kind of going away. But like with the Boise as well, I mean, there's different pots of money, and I think when folks look at like how we're spending money within the military, I don't think they really threw as much money at this platform, maybe as they could have, but obviously things kind of change.
Mm-hmm.
And I think during the times of, when you have one idea of how like military warfare is going to progress, in this day and age, it's a whole lot more cyber, and stuff like that. When I was on the Ohio, actually, people asked if I did stuff with the dry deck shelter and SEAL operations and stuff. I said no. Actually, I did more on the New Hampshire because we did the test platform for some of that stuff and just went out and did some test ops and things with divers and SEALs on board. But
I didn't do any of that. You guys were done with all that already.
were we?
Yeah. I got there right after I said you guys had just finished doing
Yep.
all the cool stuff. But it looks like they're going to be replacing with the Virginia class.
Yep.
They're going to add Tomahawk missiles, according to this article.
The Block 5
Yeah.
Virginia class, the VPM deployed 28. Right. So, okay. So they're just going to put a little missile pod there.
So we'll see how that works out.